the truth.
My job. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, the government always tells us accurate and correct and news, and then they never lie. So it's March 12th. It's a Thursday, 2026. Thank you so much for being here, and it's trash day here at the house. The Price House. Well, today the trash man decided to be here before noon, so it's a guessing game. If that thing ain't out there by 6 a.m., you've already lost. I mean, we really just, I don't know, do you guys play these kind of games with your trash man where you take the trash out? Why the way, we used to have alleys, and you just left the can in the alley and you didn't care, and the trash guy came and left and you didn't think about it. But now we all take all of our trash out to the street because we've solved that problem. So that's out there. So that gets to stay out there. That's cool. But then we bring it up, and then we can take it back out. And we bring it up, and we have to remember what day it is because that's the day the trash guy comes. And by God, that trash guy has to stop an extra second, or if he has to wait for you to roll the can out, he's Gandhi, right? Good. He's there to make his company money. I get it. He's all that, but. Again, folks, I think we have forgotten the plot of the story. The forgotten part of the story is that it is humanity is why we do what we do and why we are where we are. Real quick, I don't know if you guys remember Desiree Doreen Sagari. She was a woman who called for people wearing MAGA hats to be shot. She has now been found guilty of interstate communication of threat to injury. So she actually went out and... went out on the internet and said that this is what we need to do. And she's not an ugly person, and physically not ugly. But this individual decided to go out there and say that this is what she wants to do to MAGA people. Well, now she's been found guilty, and she's facing up to 5 years in federal prison. So I don't know. I at the exact same time, I'm glad that something happened in this situation. But at the exact same time, I feel bad that something has to happen in this situation. Does that make sense to you? So there's a lot of these things that it grinds against me because I think of the human part of it. I think of humanity, and I know what it really is. So, what is this message? We are asking people today how they view Israel and the growing tension with Iran. Can I ask your perspective? Well, that sounds like a telemarketer. I don't get I have one that calls me probably every other day. Well, no, it probably calls me about the same time every day. I have one that calls me, and it is over and over again. It's the same number, but that I don't answer that. But I don't get the telemarketers. What I do get a lot of is the texting, though. Those weird texts from, "Hi, how was your day? I missed seeing you this morning." I'm like, and delete, report. Like, I just don't even deal with that. Anyway, so hey, Courtney, good to see you. She says, "Hi, fam. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show." It is, I do appreciate you, Courtney. I know you have been super faithful, and your attendance, the Jim Price Show, which we will note on your report card to your parents so that you'll get a special dinner or something from your folks. Remember we used to do that with Grey Cards? Remember Grey Cards were, that we had one for Joyland here in Wichita, was a small amusement park. But you could take your report card down, and if you had A's, you got 5 tickets. If you had a B, you got 4. If you had a C, you got 3. If you got a D, you got 2 or whatever it was. That was a thing. Like you would I could go down here. If I have so many A's, I can get a free ice cream cone at Dairy Queen. Back when Dairy Queen had dairy in it, not soybean filler. I almost called that out. I said, you know what? When I was saying about the telemarketer thing, I had this feeling it was going to come up, and I don't know why. I guess I brought it on to myself. My parents don't care about what? My parents don't care about me. Oh, Courtney. Welcome to life. I mean, that's really kind of what it really boils down to. Anyway, yeah, that's remember we used to do that. That was the whole thing. But now kids are like, I have a report card. There's nothing behind it. It's just duh. So you went to a building and then they gave you a piece of paper for your attendance. Kind of like the Jim Price Show. Hi, welcome to the Jim Price Show. You get you attend and you tell us you're here. You get that's half your grade. So you got 50% there, and if you just kind of hang out a little bit, you just get an A. Kind of works that way, right? It's like education. But here at the Jim Price Show, we take that shit serious. We are serious around here. But I never got. I was always. I was the kid. So if you guys have, how many? Let me ask you this real quick. How many of you guys have heard of the Gateway program or the GATE program? Hey, Brenda, good to see you. Remember the GATE program, the Gifted and Talented? Some people call it the Gifted and Talented Exchange. Some people call it Gifted and Talented Education. Some people, there was these different variations, and I think they were very much trying to, keep the name off so not everybody had the same one. But anytime I would travel, I would find myself, and here's the thing, I always called it. See, I always had speech therapy and counseling, and I never thought of it as a thing, but now I'm hearing that there were other people in speech therapy and counseling and gifted and talented, and I'm like, so come to find out that there's a whole level of people out there that were being used for mind power experiments, seeing how far you could go, how the different things are. Now, let me give you a key to that. I did go into the Monroe Institute. I don't know if you guys have actually heard. Oh, you thought the gay program? Well, maybe Courtney, you don't know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe it was gay. Yeah, I'm just not telling you the truth. See, I may have some gatekeeping on you. So I have to say gate really hard. So the idea that these things were going on, now if you go to the Monroe Institute, monroeinstitute.com, you can go pay for the exact same programming that I was going through as a child. And the reason I know that is because I had gotten interested through Sean Webb and some others, and Sean Webb highly recommends the Gateway Institute, that I got in there and I paid for part of the program because there's these little different things you can do for different meditations and stuff like that. And as soon as it came on, it was like a whoosh. Brenda, you thought I was gay? Oh man, I tell you what, I've got to change my. You thought the program was gay, or you thought I said gay, or you're gay. Hey, well now what's gay here, Brenda? You're saying I'm gay, or I said gay? See, I could have said gay, I'm gay, they're gay, you're gay, it's gay, or it's nay. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I went back into that. I went ahead and paid for some of this GATE program, and I will tell you that when I went into it, not gay program, but GATE program, GATE, that's when I found out. I was like, wow, I know this stuff. And there, let me give you, we're going to get off the news for just a second here. We're going to do a little woo-woo talk here. And I was actually doing one of the meditations, and it's not a meditation like you got to you got to make sure the whole world stops talking to you, and then you got to be in this perfect meditation of things, and you got to be all in this moment as I say, no, that's not how it works. I think it sounds like I killed Courtney. She says she's dying. So, Courtney, I'm sorry you're dying. I hope that I'm not the fault for your death, but it was good knowing you, and I will see you soon on the other side. Anyway, as I got in this, as I got into this program and I was listening to this, and I say woo-woo because, guys, people don't believe this because it's not. I can't touch it. It's not real. Oh, you bad man. Oh, superstitious. So I go into this, and there's a program, and I say that this thing is a very specific. It has this moment where you just start listening to the music, and there's these tones that there's doing this stuff, and as you go into it, what it is those frequencies are actually creating a hemiseek effect between the left and right side of the brain. So you're actually starting to use the entire flower, the entire blossom, the entire energy, the entire mushroom cap of your body. And as you start to move in that, and those energies start moving in the frequencies, and it causes the brain to start talking and moving things. It's like, when I say move, I mean like information. Things are happening. And I've told this to a couple of people, and I usually only kind of tell it to people that in this part of it, I was kind of still working on some things, and so I wasn't real confident in my expression of these thoughts and processes. So now that I feel better about a few things, this was last year, and as I'm going through this meditation, it's all, now you will go into, and this guy's voice is very specific. It's absolutely, it almost feels mechanical, but very reassuring. You know it's a real guy because it has some tonation to it, and he's able to articulate, but at the same time, it seems like it's all very much the same. Anyway, so as you go into this, there's some breath work you work on, and then there's some things that you go into, and then there's a tones that go off, and you can actually hear the tones like in different parts of your brain. Like it's like boop, 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 and you're hearing it like this. It's not just left, right, left, right. I'm sorry, this is my right, this is my left. This was your left, this was my right, or your right. Anyway, so, hey, Jeremy Phillips. Now Courtney's talking about rip me. So I guess we're all supposed to rip on Courtney. She's having a hard day. One time she's dying, now she wants you to rip on her. I don't know. You guys have got to keep this all. So as you're in there and you're hearing the boo bee dee boo doo, and you're hearing all this stuff, and then you're hearing this whoosh, it has this whole effect, right? As you're going through, kind of like the guy from Lion King. That's very, very similar voice. Which is actually the guy from Lion King is also Darth Vader. Luke, I am your father. That guy. I sound a little Scottish or Italian in there. I don't know how I did that. Anyway, so as you go into it, now there's times where you're like, you do different things. They tell you to. You're able to move your energy and stuff like that, which again, these are all very much reality. And I will tell you, as I went through these practices and I worked on this, I was very impressed with it. And it reminded me exactly what I did before. But here's what I did. And one of the times I went in, I was laying there, and you just kind of find yourself in a comfy, mostly flat position. You don't want to be sitting up. You don't want to be trying to hold yourself up. It's like you want to be where you're not going to be disturbed, but you kind of have a peaceful area, not super quiet. Doesn't have to be anything like a cave in the China or some crap. Anyway, as I'm laying there and I'm doing all this stuff, I'm working on this and I'm listening, and all of a sudden they're like, they said, you can do this, build yourself like an egg or a big circle or a balloon around you. And me being who I am, if anybody met me before, my name's Jim Price. This is the Jim Price Show. If you found yourself on the channel, thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate that. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Make sure to like, share, and comment. Tell us you were here, and that's half of your grade. So we'll make sure tally up your grade every quarter. We're going to send that to your parents so you can get your ass whooped because you got bad grades because you didn't show up enough. That's half your grade, guys. Half of your grade is just getting here. Anyway, as I lay there, and they're like, hey, build this big circle around you, this, and that. And they're kind of telling you how to do it. And I'm like, I get all sarcastic. I'm like, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you want to bet? Oh, a circle? So I went, and I didn't just go like a circle, like an egg, like I was in a little cocoon or something that's around me like this. I literally go in. Hey, Danica, good to see you. I go, you know what? I'm like, whoosh, and I push myself. They're walking you through how to make your energy big. And I'm like, whoosh, like this. And when I say it's like, think about a bubble that's centered around me, but it goes like, so let's just say the top of this microphone is like me. I'm a little dot on the top here, right? And my circle, my energy goes whoosh like this. Like half of it's up, and it goes up past the atmosphere. Okay, I know I'm exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling you exactly what I saw and exactly what I was able to do. So I could actually push my energy so big and so far. I pushed out of the atmosphere like this, and it was like this big circle, like I said, come all the way around me. Now, when I did that, this is where, guys, this Monroe Institute stuff is not any hokum or hoo-woo-ju-boo-goo-ju-goo. The stuff is real, guys. Whether we want to believe it or not, whether we believe energy or your mind manipulation, or you can control your own mind, or how you have the ability to make yourself better, guys, it is absolutely real, because I'm doing it for myself constantly, because I do worry about dementia. I do worry about illnesses. I do worry about cancer. I do worry about all the things that I've had to deal with, and all the chemicals I've been faced with, all the stress, all the things that were done to me as a child, all that stuff, right? I am working so hard to make sure I don't have cancers or parasites. I'm making sure so hard that I'm making sure my frequencies are right, because God dang it, guys, that's all I got left. Because all the medical out there is killing you. So we got to go somewhere. I can't just ignore medical and then not do the stuff that may, or absolutely will fix you. So as I'm going through this process and I'm seeing this, and I go and I take this energy and I'm like, whoosh, and I just take it like boom, like this, and just think of it like a big bubble, right? And this is the part where it gets a little bit, this is the part where people kind of go, they either all in, or they're kind of like, keep telling me your story, Jimmy. I'm going to write this down so I can get this in the intake for your stay at the asylum, right? When I went like this, and I was laying there, and everything is as very real as me talking or waving my hands around describing this. This is all very real in the moment. As I go in, and I take that energy and I just joosh with it all the way up like this, and I can see what I've done, but I can see myself like from the moon's view. Maybe that's why we all have the moon, is that's actually how we see ourselves. That's how we connect. I don't know. There's some stuff out there on that. You guys have heard like the moon's a satellite, antenna, watch base. We're in the Truman Show. That's the command center. They're all looking at us going, you guys are a bunch of idiots. But it's good watching you guys. You guys are a lot of fun. Anyway, as I pushed that all the way up, there were 5 distinctive separate voices from around the area. And when I say around the area, I'm talking about like kind of like satellites around the Earth. But they were kind of within, there was a couple here, like there was 2 or 3 here, and there was 2 over here. Now listen to this. I want to tell you this. This is what what happened. When I went like this, and I was just being Mr. Sarcastic, kind of seeing if the electric fence, get my fingers wet. Is it gonna hurt? Ow! That kind of thing. I went whoosh, and I pushed all the way out on that energy, and there was these 5 distinctive voices, and they all at the exact same time. I almost wish I could describe each of their faces to you, but we don't want to do all that. Or the face or the image of them, and they all said, "We see you." And then I went, "Oosh," and I was like, "Oh!" Like it was like, it was like one of those like, "Hey, oh!" Like, "Hey, I saw you do that, man. I saw you fall, or I saw you, catch the electric fence." And I was a little like, I did it to get noticed, but I did it to see if I was going to get noticed. I wanted to see if it was real, because this would be like the first time of ever like connecting outside of myself in this process. And when I did that, when I went whoosh, and then I heard these 5 distinctive voices, and they were all very in sync, just very normal. "We see you," and they said, "We see you." So they all knew they all knew that they saw me together. And I think that was that's one of those times where when we think about the energy of things and what we do and how we are and the thoughts that connect, I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for actually knowing what other people think. And the problem is that most times when egos come into play, when I tell you or they tell you or someone is saying something, and this is where when people say, oh, you meant a yellow golden dog, or you meant peanut butter, or, oh, you're sad. What's going on inside of you? I can feel that, or I can hear that you're struggling with something, and it may just be trying to figure out how to wipe. I don't know. But the problem is, as soon as the ego hears that someone can see behind your underwear, can see underneath your bra, or under your, they can see your butt, or they can see inside your thoughts, the ego says, what? Oh, I never said that, thought that, felt that. You're crazy as a go. Oh, my gosh, man. You must be one of those woo-woo people. You do people thing. You do people thing. Oh, you do divine. Oh, I don't do that. Not money. Not my government. So the point of that is that when we actually do experience those thoughts, or we do hear those things, and then you try to talk to that person about what you heard, and then they reject it, you doubt your own skills, your own abilities. And then that is where we all fail each other. I do believe, now I have said this I don't know why I'm doing the show today like this, but we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. So what we're going to do. We're doing it. I do believe that the English language, or the whistling that comes out of our mouth, and we use our mouth and tongue and teeth and air pressure and vocal cords to change the whistle so that you understand the whistle and I understand your whistle, and then other people understand my whistle and they understand your whistle, and we all understand each other's whistle, called language. Because when we're talking, it's a whistle. We say it's speech. And I have been to thousands of hours of speech therapy with my daughter. I have literally sat there in speech therapy with her and learned all these different ways and why it is. I know why I skip over my words sometimes. I know why I mispronounce words sometimes. It's because I'm being lazy with my mouth position. I'm not opening my mouth all the way. I'm not using my tongue all the way. I'm not using all my air, and I'm not using all my vocal cords. But as we talk, this whistle we do here, I do believe this is a waste of time. And I do believe that the interconnection that people get by having each other in each other's lives and each other's spheres of influence, meaning that 3-foot energy ball around you, and as you bring yourself into each other's influence, I do believe that the mind is actually connecting, and I do believe if we give ourselves half a chance, and by the way, I don't know what preacher, gospel, synagogue, Jew, Catholic, Buddha, whoever told us that our minds can't talk to each other, that's bullshit. And that is absolute so much bullshit that it absolutely pisses me off to the point of saying, I cannot take it anymore to listen to people tell me you can't hear each other. That's a lie. The government can use radio frequencies from cell phone towers, from satellites, from your Doppler radars, your Doppler microwave radars. Oh yeah, those put thoughts in your heads all the time. But you're telling me that I, sitting next to you, or even a continent away, I can't hear your thoughts. Why? Because the energy dies between your ears? But see, energy cannot be destroyed. It can change shape, but it never is destroyed. So the energy, those thoughts coming out of you, that's why your thoughts are important. That's why your thoughts are important, that you keep yourself in that positive mindset, that things are going to go the way you want. And this is where you're going to be. And some version of this reality is what I want. And it may not be that perfect, my reality, but it's going to be so close, it'll be scary. That is the energy you create. And you tell me you can't read each other's mind? Physicists will tell you that your dogs know what you're saying. They know where you're within a half a mile of your house. Your house plants know you're within 2 miles of your house. How is it your god dang no brain, no walking up, no talking house plants know you're within 2 miles of them, but you can't talk to another human being without whistling at them with your vocal cords, tongue, teeth, mouth, and air? See, we've slowed down communication and our ability to understand each other. We've slowed it down so much that we can't communicate at hyper speed and exchange knowledge in the way that they used to. We can't compound knowledge. We can't compound strength. We can't be together because separate we're easier to kill and easier to manipulate. See, this is where I go around and around with myself on this stuff. Because I was the guy who was the youth pastor, right? I was the guy who was the Awana director for decades. I mean, my kids were in Awanas. I won all these Awana Olympics flags that, and I did all this stuff, and I have that. But then I also have the other side of the world where we're talking about all the stuff with, guys, when I tell you guys like, oh, the Jeffy emails, there's nothing in there compared to anything I've ever seen personally in my life. There's nothing in there that's like, oh, guys, we're not even to the hard stuff yet. We're at the easy shit. We have the ability to communicate, but we have been taught that doing it through the words, through our mouths, is how you do it. But in reality, we should be training each other to talk through our brains. And I think this is the Jim Price version. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor, not a physicist, I play a doctor on TV. I play a physicist on TV. But in real life, I wouldn't want their accreditations if they gave them to me. Physicists know what we can do and what we have the ability to do, but yet we're all running around here trying to be told all the time that you need to be able to talk this way to communicate. But what if you look around in the Tartarias of the world, the Tartarian buildings we've seen in St. Louis and Kansas City and Omaha and in Egypt and in Italy and Milan and all these other places. Everybody knows those buildings were built with frequency. Everybody knew about the Fibonacci sequence. Everybody knew about these things, and they knew those were them. The Fibonacci sequence was the very first thing to learn as an infant. That was your very first learning, not to learn it when you were 80, but learn it when you were little. And then you spent the rest of your life learning how to communicate not only just in this dimension, but other dimensions as well without having any tethers. But we've cut all those tethers. We cut all that ability because someone in some church somewhere told us that when you pray to God, he hears you. But when I talk to Sally, she doesn't. Unless I open my pie hole. That's the only way she'll hear me. Billy only hears me if I blah, 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 blah at him. Why is it that they tell us that we can talk to our God in prayer, where we bow our head and we talk to them silently in our head? Why do we do that with our Creator, but we can't do that with each other? I'll wait for the answer. I'll wait. Now, you can talk one way, and he can talk one way, but you can't talk one way, and then they talk one way? I'll wait for your answer here, folks. I'm not trying to get in trouble here because I'm just a common old boy just over here hay seeding, chewing on my hay stalk, my hay shaft there, and just don't know nothing from nothing, man. I am just a dummy. I spell dummy with a T because I say tummy. Now, what the thing is why is it we're told that God only can hear my voice in my head, but yet, and I could be anywhere on earth and he'll still remember that's me, but yet when I talk to Billy Joe, Bob Thornton, Dick Boo, and everybody else, they can't hear you? You can't what? What'd you say, man? What'd you talk about? What'd you say, Willis? See, I think sometimes, man, we just a little bit, I think we just take it too easy. I think we take it to do easy because the lazy way is talking with your mouth. But here's the thing. I have been doing work with some folks, and I have really been trying to get some work done on myself and some other things. And I have a practitioner that we now, I don't know if we want to call it barter, but we exchange work. And I will tell you what, I would swear to God we talked the whole time. I swear to God, we literally are having lengthy conversations the whole time. And she does hear me, but she doesn't have the confidence to hear it and believe it. Because so she says, no, I second guess myself all the time. I hear what you're saying, and I know what you're saying, but then I'll second guess it. Guys, by the way, go over to Rumble, go over to Twitter, go over the base. Make sure and like Jim Price Show, Jim Price on Facebook. Get out those likes out there. Rumble, Facebook, different places like that. Get out there. Make sure you do all those because that's the only way I make the moonies. By the way, I think I make about $4 a year on Rumble. Now, granted, I wasn't publishing anything on there because I wasn't doing it live because they didn't have a live connection thing. But now they do, so I publish quite frequently, obviously, every day. But, yeah, they don't, I don't know. I don't know what their payouts are. I don't know where the ad revenues are. But anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. So, let's see here. Oh, Stephanie Morrow's here. Look at Europe showing up for us. Well, hello, Stephanie. Good to see you. We're not God. We're human fallen. We are human fallen creatures. Humans have selective hearing. Well, that's not fair. Selective hearing, that must mean that our egos get in the way and tell us that, no, we're not wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Right, Charlie? Oh, right, Charlie? Oh, my God, that lady. Oh, by the way, there's a whole thing where the state legislators were going to put out a Charlie Kirk license plate, but yet the funds were going to not go to TPUSA, but to Erica Kirk's ex-boyfriend. Yeah, don't worry about that, guys. Oh, my gosh. So, this is kind of crazy that we have, like, all this, like, think about, okay, this is what I said the other day. If we had the internet of today, there would have never been a 9/11. Oh, it would have happened, but we would have debunked it in less than 24 hours, and they would have had to admit it was all bullshit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Think about the internet of today. I tell you what, guys, listen, I really do have to really push the envelope of accuracy to the point where I will even be like, you've heard, like, wait, let me look that up again. Let me make sure I got that right. Because sometimes, even though I know I've been learning this stuff and really working on this, I have to really make sure, like, oh, wait, and then there's times I have had things wrong. I've had to go back and correct, but not very often. But man, the internet is a slave driver. You don't get to go, well, it was around the 1770s something when we did our independence thing. I mean, people were like, hey, say 1776, boy. July 4th. That's where America's born. But actually, by the way, we all do say that July 4th was the day of our independence. It was actually not. It was actually in 1775. We actually were free, and we took us that long to get everything put together, and then they moved it from July 1st or 2nd, and then they couldn't get together, so then it moved to the 4th. See, again, guys, we don't even preach it like we should. Remember, the camels all showed up at the manger next to Jesus, even though in the Bible it says it was 6 to 7 years or even 8 years after his birth when they found Jesus in Egypt. But we don't tell the manger story that way, do we? And we always make it some like little trough manger thing. Like the manger was actually an inner room within the house because they prized their animals so much they put them in a better place than the human beings. So can we tell the story a little better or a little more accurate? Because I have to be accurate. Why don't the preachers got to be accurate? Why don't the Baptists and the Catholics and all the others, why don't they have to be? What do they get? They get a free card on Christmas? That's my one good sin day. Oh, yeah, I put my sin in on Christmas. I mean, first of all, the idea that Jesus was on a donkey is actually kind of hard for me to understand because we're donkeys in the Middle East. I'm just asking for a friend, guys. I don't think we have the right animals. Just asking. 3,000, it's like, what are we doing here? 3,000 years ago, animals weren't as domesticated as what we have today. And a lot of the animals that we crossbreed nowadays as being normal, well, Yeah, there were donkeys, but anyway. Do you see what I'm saying here? We didn't have horses in North America or South America until the English brought them to America just a few hundred years ago. Horses are new to this continent. Hello? Anybody? Did we not know that? Syphilis and gonorrhea had not come here yet, but syphilis hadn't got here, but we had not had gonorrhea. We got gonorrhea from the Native Americans, which were actually East Asian people, or Russians or Chinese. But hey, we don't want to talk about that. They're from East Asia. Indians in America are from East Asia. Genetically, they can't deny that. Let's not all, hey, they were here and we colonized them. We also gave them horses, which they all ran in and said that was all part of their lineage. But the problem is horses have only been here a couple hundred years. Like, 300 or 400 years at most? So horses have not been prevalent. They thought they were big dogs. The people of the Native Americans, the East Asians that are here, anyway, they thought they were big dogs. They wanted to know why they were riding their dogs. Brenda says it's true, Jim. They don't really tell you how many wise men there really were were even there. Yeah. It could have been a whole tribe of 20, 30, 100, 200 people. We don't know. A bunch of hippies in a chartreuse bus, right? From Convoy, right? I love that song so much. I don't know why. Have you guys listened to Convoy in a while? You guys need to go get you on your iTunes or Spotify or whatever. Just turn on Convoy one time and tell me you don't want to go drive a damn truck. You don't want to get a little bit like, hey, I'd take a drive across the country, just being a truck driver. I'm telling you what, man, that thing will get you going. But they do talk about a chartreuse microbus, and that is the hippies of the group. But we don't know. Again, they just talk about the gifts. Well, those gifts, here's the thing. Frankincense and myrrh were so expensive. This is like giving a country away. So I don't understand. Maybe they gave him a little like, oh, hey, here's a little booger's worth. Don't go spending it everywhere. See, the problem is like we think about like, oh, there's a place here called the Spice Merchant here in Wichita. Very, very famous place. A lot of people order from it around the world. I don't know why. It's just become that known. So the Spice Merchant here in Wichita, I can go down there and get saffron from Afghanistan. That's not how it worked back then, guys. Things like that were very precious, very little, like salt. I mean, we walk around and we got jars and jugs and bags, and we have entire buildings full of salt in case it snows. But people were worth their weight in salt in Roman times. They would give salt as their payment. So think about that. See, that's the part where, guys, do we even know our own world? Do we even know? I mean, we want to say, hey, this is the most perfect Bible ever, never been touched by man, never been omitted, nothing added, but yet we can go back just 10 years ago and they've already taken out like 5 verses out of the King James Version. Oh, yeah, that's a real thing, guys. I'm not kidding you. Last 10 years. Then you go back to the Ethiopian Bible, which is supposed to be a very, very early before the King James Version, and it's not even the same Bible. So we all got to quit talking about things that we so factually know, but we don't even know how our own world works. We don't even realize that hydrogen is a very stable but a noble gas and actually can power the world. With electrolysis, with the amount of 9-volt battery, you could take a 9-volt battery and create hydrogen, which will then create explosions in the cylinders of your vehicle and drive you down the road. And then you can put a little alternator that recharges the 9-volt battery that then perpetually just keeps producing hydrogen as you drive down the road and you have water mist coming out of your exhaust. But we think gasoline is the only way. Gasoline is super important and is very easy it's so malleable. It does so many amazing things. But hydrogen's better. But we can't go there because, well, it's too cheap. some baking soda, some water, and electricity. Those are the three things you need to make something that will explode in the same way gasoline vapor. By the way, gasoline liquid does not burn. It has to be in a gas form before it ignites. So you have the exact same process, except for it's hydrogen, and it puts off water, not carbons, or different types of carbons, different types of gases. So, guys, this is where we talk about things, and we say, okay, this is what we're doing. But I spent an entire day today. I did not go where I thought this was going to go. I talked about the GATE program and other things like that. But this is kind of one of those deals where I really wish that we could talk more openly. But and this is something else I was talking about earlier. I'm on radio stations right now that are not FCC controlled. They're radio stations that are on broadcast, but then they're not on FCC broadcast, but then they're also on internet, radio, blah blah blah. So this isn't going back on a stick, and they call it a stick every one of the towers, and so I'm going back to that. Did you guys know that I could talk about more conspiracies? I can say more things than anything. I could say anything I want to, except for 7 cuss words. But yet on Facebook, I can say all of the body parts, all of the cuss words, all of the gabadoos. But if I say something that's conspiratorial, or if I say something can cure you, I will get shadow banned, doxxed. They'll take my followers. They'll take my page. And that's how it works. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? Kelly says, Zoom meeting. Do we have a Zoom meeting, Kelly? Oh, are you talking about for the float trip? You know, I would really like you guys. I mean, I know I had a lot of interest about the float trip, and we were going to do some great things, and everybody's very excited about that, and $150 for 3 nights. Oh, fact checkers, 1984. Ooh, yeah. But I do say that we can go into, I do think that we can go into this whole thing and change this and turn this around. I think that the float trip is an amazing thing. I think it'd be fun, but I just need some help doing it. I cannot do it by myself, guys. Oh, Kelly Wolf says float trip. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, float trip. You said Zoom meeting. I don't know. So anyway, guys, there's a lot of opportunity for us to be better human beings without even knowing the politics of the day. Now, I can describe to you the things that are going on very easily. I can make fun of a lot of people. I can talk about the stupidity of their things that they do and this, that, and the other thing. And that's not hard to do. I got that. But we can do things like what I talked about today about learning to listen to each other, learning to do these different things, understanding our energy, understanding how our world works, making sure that we don't always go out there for the hardest thing right in front of us, right? We got to make sure that we understand the backstory. So again, I'm not telling anybody, and listen to me for a second here. I'm not telling anybody about this being wrong, okay? But I'm also telling you that you also have to understand it has been modified. And that there have been people who have put their fingertips and their fingerprints and their DNA into this. By the way, it says right here in the very front of this, and this is the part I always want to ask people about. This is where I get in here and I'm like, okay, listen, guys, this is the Reader's Guide to the Holy Bible, King James Version. So it's not only just the King James Version, but it's the Reader's Guide, King James Version to the Bible. So, again, this is where I think that we don't usually pay attention, that we're not getting original transcripts. We're not getting the original copy. We're getting study guides. We're getting the Schofield. We're getting these different standard Bibles, right? We're getting different variations. Now, you go into the NIV and all the other ones, it gets real wonky out there. But we have to be authentic and be honest and say, listen, we know that there are other things out there. Yes, I'm going to use this as the one I'm using for reference and be honest about that. And that's where we find authenticity, and that's where we find our Creator, and that's where we find a better us. There we go. Book of Enoch. Oh, we got people over here. Kelly Wolf is killing it over there. She's on the other side, guys. You guys are on Jim Price. She's over on the Jim Price show. The Vatican took out the whole bunch of books. Oh, well, that's the Council of Nicaea. How about we go back even before the Council of Nicaea? See, the Council of Nicaea was actually a subset, but there was actually references of before that, right? So there's like 300 and some books in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Is that right? Like in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then then there's another set that has the Dead Sea Scrolls, but then there are other books with those as well that all reference each other. It's like 200 and some or 300. I think it may be less than 300, but it's around 300. But the thing of that is, though, is why is it that the Catholic Church, who has all that hidden knowledge and the miles and miles and miles of catacombs of information underneath and by the way, remember Jeffy spent 3 years living there. 3 years living there, but he was also always looking for the fountain of youth, which was also what the Catholic Church told Indiana Jones to go find in the Temple of Doom. But also what the Rothschilds were telling the German army to go do in Africa. Remember? Remember all those stories that are also interconnected? Oh, the Gospel of Thomas. Well, oh, by the way, that's another thing. By the way, how many books in the Bible are named for the person that didn't write it? See, that's another thing, too, is like if you go back, and I forgot about this factoid, but there was a thing I came across the other day. It's like it was talking about the people who actually wrote the book, not who it was. So like First and Second Timothy are not Timothy, or about Timothy or something like that. There's things in there that you have to. And then there's like things that like we think about in Matthew, but they're not written by Matthew, even though parts of it are written by Matthew, but then parts are not written by Matthew. Anyway, it gets very convoluted. And guys, this is where there's nothing wrong with the Bible, but what I do have to tell you is that if you're not honest with yourself and you're not working on that relationship, that piece of paper is worthless. So you can read that piece of paper until your eyeballs fall out and you're in a box. But at the end of the day, and I've seen this, the religious people, the things that people out there, and I can recite every book in the Bible. I used to be able to do so much of that. But that doesn't make you closer to your Creator. It makes you a better Christian. It makes you a better eye pleaser because you can recite entire passages of the Bible. But that's eye pleasing. That's ego driven. And that's where that becomes the step. I think that becomes the stumbling block. Because you hide behind that, not who you are. Right? I think that, again, what's the original sin in the Bible? Why do you have clothes on? Oh, who? What? Us? What? You? No. These. Saw my ding-a-ling, so I thought I'd cover it. Why? It's a thing, man. It's kind of the new thing in the, new creation. I thought I'd try. It's like day 2. I thought I'd try something new, bro. What do you think? You like it? It's like, I think it's supposed to be like a grape leaf. So cool, man. What do you think? Why do you have clothes on? Why have you covered yourself? If that is not the greatest definition of why are you covered in ego, why do you traffic in egoism? Why are you always looking around through your ego to make sure that you are protected all the time, when in reality, when you're most open and you're most authentic and everybody just sees your little bitty parts, there's no more questions or answers. It's just you and I. By the way, I'm going to go back to that. You and I. That's an etiquette thing. There is no proper English where I say, Courtney and me. Nah, how about this, Courtney? It's like me and Courtney. Because it is not a law or an etiquette anything or English word order anything. It's just a courtesy. But how many of us had our heads bashed in, verbally or physically or emotionally, whatever it was in school? Cannot put yourself before the other in any written form or verbal form. Just like most state laws tell you that you're required to stop at a red light, you're to clear the intersection and proceed with caution. No different than the description when you stop at a stop sign. But see, sometimes the light is green and you don't have to look. And it actually still says to proceed with caution. Why don't we even know that? Don't get mad at me. I'm not the one. You guys didn't play it by the game. You didn't know the rules of the game. That's not my problem. Not my problem. Uh-oh. Kelly Wolf says, Jim, the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said something really thought-provoking on nakedness. Well, you better spill the beans. We only got about 1 minute left here. We got 2 minutes left. By the way, guys, I'm going to have to get real strict on my clock time on April 1st. So I'm going to get a little bit better, a little bit tighter with that. It does look like I will be on tomorrow. I was thinking about maybe taking tomorrow afternoon off, but I'll just go ahead and be on the show. It looks like next Thursday and Friday I will be traveling I need to have a health fair in Arizona. So it looks like I'll be traveling to that, but I will be here. Hey, Kelly, you can't leave us hanging like this. You can't do that. Yeah. She's just got us hanging, guys. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about our emotional distress. I'm gonna have to go find a safe place and coddle myself until I feel safe again. Golly, Kelly, you never share with anybody anymore. Oh, so rude. What is she doing? She leaving us hanging? All right, I'll have to go find it. Well, guys, I do appreciate everything you guys are doing out there. I know I rambled on about a lot of different things. It was not even about the news of the day. Most of the news of the day today is just about the synagogue got shot. Or no, someone got shot in a synagogue because he ran his truck into it. The guy at that university is actually a Muslim, and he was actually ex-military or ROTC, and was known to be a radical Muslim, and now they're trying to say he wasn't. That shooting happened today. There was nobody. The security guard was hurt when the guy drove his truck into the synagogue. So now we got to have. Oh, by the way, how does everybody else have a temple? Why don't we have why does Christians not have temples? I don't understand that. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so here it says, this is what Kelly Wolf says in the Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, when you disrobe without being ashamed and take your clothes and lay them under your feet like little children and trample on them, then you will see the Son of the Living One, and you will not be afraid. Because you're authentic, because you're honest, you're not hiding, you're not putting on a dress shirt and vest, you're not doing all these things, these layers. Do you know that the Protestant movement, the Puritan movement by Queen Elizabeth is what brought in the more clothes means more royalty, more sophistication? That was all a product of the same lady who went in there and did something about marriage too. I get a little controversy on that every now and again, but yeah, Queen Elizabeth with the Puritan movement said if you are not a Christian or profess your faith in Christ, you are executed on sight. That was the Puritan movement, guys. So yeah, believe in Jesus. That's the best way to do it. Anyway, yeah, love yourself. Don't be worried about it, guys. I've said this, and I have seen a lot of nakedness in my life, not so much as an adult because everybody's afraid to show anything anymore. But I will tell you, I think I look way better without my clothes on than I ever do with my clothes on. I have always felt that about myself, even when I was a lot heavier. It's just like I felt like this is who I am, and if everybody just gets it out of the way, then the boosty bras and the cod pieces and the muscle shirts nobody gives a shit. It's not how tight the shirt is, it's what do you look like without the shirt on, brother? So again, there's a lot of that where we put a lot of things on to peacock and look this way, but in reality, when we become authentic, when we become real on the inside, it solves a lot of problems, guys. It really does. And a lot of this stuff, when you look around, you see the people getting pissed, and you see the wars, and you see all that, and you're like, God dang, guys. It's kind of lazy. And that wraps up the name of the show right there. The very last sentence is the name of the show was lazy. Because I think a lot of what we see in this world, and a lot of the world things going on right now, the wars and all the bullshit and all the, you can't have your DHS funding because then you'll know our voter rolls. And if we have illegals on the voter rolls, you're going to take them off the voter rolls. And we don't want that. Literally their words. Not even modified, not even anything. That was literally what Chuck Schumer said. That ICE will take off illegals from the voter rolls. period. That's it. It's just lazy, though. Say that from the front, man. We need people to vote for us, so we're going to buy their love. That sounds like a broken marriage. That sounds like a broken relationship. Oh, all right, guys. So, guys, it's good stuff. Kelly, great conversation with you today. I appreciate that input. It was really nice. We got Stephanie Morrow kicking it over there from Europe. Jeremy Phillips was in here. Courtney was doing it. We had all the great comments. And Brenda, she was giving us the backup on everything. Now, I don't know where Ed's going to be here in the next coming weeks. He said he has a schedule conflict, so I will work with him to see where we're back. But the schedule, the daylight savings time change, Arizona doesn't change. And so we get unsynced for that time. So we'll see if he gets back in here. But, guys, it's great seeing everybody out there. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise to make promise I can't keep. Guys, you've always been that answer out there. Remember that Constitution, that hemp paper, that's yours. That limits your government. That's the stop sign for them. That does not blink, does not stop. They are to stay there until you give them permission to move. Imagine that. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's great conversations. Good stuff. Don't Google Chuck Schumer. Standard Hotel. Oh, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. What? What was that black boy doing? Oh, he was dying? Oh, no, he was already dead. Never mind. Sorry. That's gross. That's necrophilia. All right, I'm out of here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there. Oop dare. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.